Saying, by the way, as you might expect, we did ask Reform for an interview. We invited them onto the programme this morning. They did decline. That statement from Nigel Farage says that no parliamentary rules have been broken. It also accuses the Sunday Times of running the story because it backed Labour at the last election. Chris Mason, our political editor, is with us. Morning, Chris.
Morning.
This is it's a complex story. The Sunday Times has laid out these allegations quite clearly. Reform, Nigel Farage, George Cottrell as well, the man who provided those gifts. He has also denied that any rules have been broken through his solicitors. What are we to take from this?
To the argument, the centrality of the argument here is precisely what was Nigel Farage doing in the months and the year before he became an MP. It is accepted that he was waxing and waning at the time about whether or not he wanted to stand for Parliament. His argument is that he had left politics. He was undecided what he was going to be doing next. He was working for GB News. He'd been in the jungle on I'm a Celebrity, and that he saw himself as a broadcaster, an influencer, a businessman. Now, the question is then how that relates to the rules, and in particular, the paragraph that Baroness Harman was just quoting from in the last element of your conversation there, page 19 and 20 of the rules, benefits which could not reasonably thought by others to be related to membership of the House or to a member's parliamentary or political activities, for example, purely personal gifts or benefits from partners or family members. However, both the possible motive of the giver and the use to which the gift is to be put should be considered. If there is any doubt, the benefit should be registered. And as far as critics of Nigel Farage are concerned, and there are plenty, as you'd expect, on the benches of the House of Commons, they feel that unless he's held to account for this, it makes a mockery of everybody else's diligence, because their argument is, come on, he hadn't left politics, he was the honorary president of Reform UK, and why did he need social media staff if he wasn't campaigning? So there's a line there, I think, between campaigning and the very public presence that Nigel Farage had, contributing to public debate, not least the question around boats in the Channel, for instance, and whether that was deemed to be party political or political in any sense, and in particular party political.
Final quick thought, Chris. For everything that Nigel Farage says and Reform say and their political opponents say, the ultimate decision on whether any rules have been broken will be made by the Parliamentary Commissioner for Standards. Now, these new allegations have not yet been picked up. They're not yet being investigated. The £5 million gift is being investigated. When do we expect, or is it just impossible to predict when we might get some sort of result on that?
It is difficult to predict because it is in the hands of the Commissioner. My understanding is that Nigel Farage is yet to meet him regarding that £5 million. And when he does, we'll have, he says, advice from lawyers that he sought that suggested he did not need to declare that. I think, though, if we take just half a step back, Anna, from this swirl which continues, is that the potted story of politics of the last 2 years is the spectacular rise of Reform, spooking, petrifying their opponents. Big factor, perhaps the biggest factor in accelerating the demise of Keir Starmer and the rise of Andy Burnham. But in recent months and in recent days, this swirl around Nigel Farage, around money, unimaginable, vast amounts of money, and then questions about motivation and transparency. These questions are sticking around. Mr. Farage has been uncomfortable in interviews about it, including on this programme a couple of weeks ago, and it is starting to give his political rivals some hope that Reform are hitting turbulence. That's why all of this matters politically, whatever does or doesn't come out of the process is underway.
Is the sense that Nigel Farage is still in for that fight?
Absolutely, I think. I mean, you certainly hear from some who have said, and we've heard this, haven't we, in the last few weeks, he needs a bit of a rest, etc., etc. Certainly in my dealings with him, he seems pretty keen and pretty up for the scrap, as he always is. This stuff's uncomfortable, though. I think, you could hear that in the range of interviews he did a couple of weeks ago. That the passion of his argument in return is there to be heard, but clearly he would much rather be talking about anything else, not least because, these amounts of money, take the money that he declared just a week or so ago in the Register, earning £250,000 for advertising gold bullion. This stuff is obviously pretty otherworldly to the vast majority of people, and politicians would much rather be talking about anything other than things like this, particularly with this ongoing investigation by the Parliamentary Commissioner.
Thank you, Chris. Chris Mason there, our political editor.